It's really tempting to want to skip through this part of the book of Ecclesiastes. It's so bleak. It's so hopeless. It's so despairing. And we kind of want to say, okay, we get it. Enough of that already. We know that. Let's move on. Move on quickly. Give us the answer already. Solomon is too wise for that. We have to dwell on the problem first. We have to inhabit it. We have to understand it. We have to see how deeply rooted it is, how intractable it is. We need to feel the force of it. My own sense is that actually we can do that in a way that's almost unique at the moment. So much of our life is shaken and fragile, and we're having to confront ourselves and one another in ways that we've maybe never had to do before. And my hunch is that we can really resonate with a lot of what it is that Solomon is saying. But the problem is that we want to rush past that, and we want the answers to life's problems before we've ever really thought through what the questions are. It's dangerous to do that. There are no right answers to the wrong question. I think it was Einstein who said that if he needed to solve a problem on which his life depended, and he was given 1 hour in which to do it, he would spend the first 55 minutes thinking about what is the right question to ask. You see, Solomon doesn't want us to step out onto this quest for meaning with the wrong question, not really understanding what the problem is that we are facing. He wants to make sure that, as he himself did, that we learn to see the world as it really is, to confront life in this cursed creation as it really is. He knows as well as we do how easy it is for us to satisfy ourselves with a superficial view of life, where we take everything at face value. We believe everything that we see and hear. But Solomon's wisdom wouldn't let him do that. All right, he was able to see past the rose-tinted vision of life that the world wants us to see, and to see just how empty the promises of this world had become. You see, because of his wisdom, Solomon had a unique ability to understand the complexity and the tragedy of this world, and it left him depressed and despairing. As he writes himself, with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. You see, he was aware of the tension that there is within this world between the world as it was created, something that God declared to be very good, and what that world has become now in its fallenness and its cursedness. And Solomon's wisdom forced him to interpret the world as it is now, a cursed and fallen creation, a ruin of the world that God himself had created. So that even the things that he thought were noble and good and beautiful actually turn out to be polluted and contaminated by self-interest and sin. We know something of this ourselves, don't we? We know when some high-profile person or some organization that seems to be a force for good in the world, and at last we think, here is something truly altruistic. But then, corruption comes to light, or a hidden history. And it turns out that all was not what it seemed after all, that there were other forces at work, other motivations, other agendas. We know that feeling of disillusionment and disappointment. And the sad thing is that the longer you live, and the more often you see that happen, the more cynical you're tempted to be, right? We start to expect it. We start to believe that nobody can be good. Nothing can be good. We become distrustful of everything. Well, imagine if you had that penetrating level of insight to see the hidden history of everything, of everyone, every situation. Well, Solomon had something of that, and it leaves him philosophically exhausted. It leaves him depressed. It brings sorrow and grief as he just keeps seeing the reality of corruption and condemnation. And he sees the futility, the brokenness, the hopelessness of it all. And of course, it's not just about what's out there, right? It's about our own self-awareness. We need a wisdom to understand ourselves. Like Solomon, we would need that as a gift from God. I mean, the hard thing is not to become habitually pessimistic, is somehow to keep soft hearts in the midst of it all. But at the end of chapter 1, we cannot escape the fact that Solomon is presenting us with an extraordinarily bleak picture of the world and of our place in it, a world that we are a part of, inextricably linked to. But even in the bleakness, there is a question that is lurking just out of sight. And it's a question that will echo quietly through the pages of Ecclesiastes. And it's just a question, does it have to be like this? Is there another way? And it's interesting, isn't it? That question never goes away. In spite of everything that we experience in life, in spite of everything that we are told, that still there is in us a longing for significance and meaning and purpose, a longing that will not be silenced. Of course, the sad thing is that many people don't even know why they have that. They don't know what's missing. And so they don't know where to look for the answer. In fact, sometimes they just keep running away from the question. And yet, still, we remain haunted by the conviction that there must be a better way to do life, a more meaningful way to do life. Well, as we will see as we go through the book of Ecclesiastes, the answer is yes, of course, there is a better way to do life. And actually, the relentless futility that we experience in this world is supposed to inspire our search for that better way. And of course, that is the journey that Ecclesiastes will take us on.